Magic for fun one night, and then starts off his night on a mulligan to 5. Both players playing land go. Zach gonna start off with a Necromancer's Assistant. The 3 mana 3/1. Whenever it enters the battlefield, mill 3. Hits a Encrust, looks like a Child Knight, and a Turn to Frog. Enter turn, Jeremy's gonna Lightning Strike that. Jeremy on triple mountains, no swamps yet. And there's a Rummaging Goblin. A 3 mana 1/1 that can tap to loot. Zach not missing a land drop, which is pretty good on his mod to 5. Lands his foil Paragon of the Wind, or whatever the blue Paragon is called. For what it's worth, it's a 4 mana 2/2. Gives all his blue creatures +1/+1, and can tap and pay 1 blue to activate and give a creature flying. Arguably the best Paragon. Jeremy planning out his turn, just ships it back to Zach. Zach untaps, bashes in with his 2/2. And there's a Lightning Strike, so that's what Jeremy was thinking about. When to time that. And there's the Trigon. Jeremy going to end turn loot, pitch a mountain. Doesn't look like he needs any more. Looks like he needs a swamp. Zach, of course, not going to be able to activate that poor man's Icy Manipulator until next turn. We've got double Rummaging Goblin set up over on Jeremy's side, though, into Ornithopter. My goodness, we are going off on Jeremy's side. And looks like we're going to fist something. So the fist card comes into play. Something can't block until end of turn, and it gives the creature haste. So Jeremy going to bash in for 3, drop down to 17, drop Zach down to 17. Of course, that Ornithopter, very, very suspicious out of Jeremy's side. You got to expect a Shrapnel Blast out of him. No, really no other reason to be playing that card. So Jeremy going to set up and loot on his main phase. Going to pay 3 mana for a dude. And when we go to combat, we're going to pay 4 mana and tap that down. So Zach going to try to get some traction right now, just spinning his wheels. There's Divination, so I'm going to take a step in the right direction for undoing his mulligan. But behind on board, not going to help him, especially not going to help him whenever he misses his land drop after his Divination. So we'll see if Jeremy can keep the pressure going. He said he was black-red. We have yet to see any black from him yet. Just the red. Oh, we did not want to do that. So Jeremy going to bash in with his 2/1, his 1/1, and something that deals 3 damage. Drops Zach down to 10. There's an Indulgent Tormentor. It looks good. But of course, he is faced off against Mono Mountains, and Mountains against Indulgent Tormentor usually is a fight favored towards the deck that has Lightning Strike, as Indulgent Tormentor is a 5/3. it. Retweeted. So Zach takes 3 down to 7. I'm doing my best impression of Zach while I'm focusing on other things, and things in the match happen without me noticing. So Zach took 3 somewhere. Throws down an encrust on that Rummaging Goblin, which is going to keep it tapped, and even if it could untap in some way or fashion, it is not going to be able to use its Rummage ability. Just going to be dead weight at this point. Does provide 2 devotion, though. Zach trying to figure out if he can attack. Doesn't look like he can, and he just passes the turn back. Jeremy, hand on his face right now. Got a Rummaging Goblin. He can keep filtering through his library. He did tell me he was playing black. I can't quite see his hand to see if there are black spells in there. But with the Rummaging Goblin, he can definitely try to dig his way out. There's a Hill Giant. Don't be fooled, that's just a lot of flavor text on that card. Ooh, but it does have haste, and it's coming barreling in. Now Zach can trade with it with his Indulgent Tormentor, or he can chump with his Bronze Sable, which is what he chooses to do. Jeremy's follow-up play is a Mountain, which signals that he might have another Mountain in his hand. Otherwise, that seems like a bit of a waste with the Rummaging Goblin in play. He doesn't let Zach draw an extra card, instead just sacks the Ornithopter. So, going to discard a Miner's Bane at end of turn. Zach can manipulate this board where he can tap down the Giant. That way, Jeremy can really only attack with his other creature. Gonna go ahead and loot on his main phase. I apologize, as I now realize that I probably should have started this timer some time ago. We'll just go ahead and say it's this amount of time. So it looks like he found something, and he puts it right in the glare. Whatever it was, it cost 4 mana. We go to combat, tap the Giant down. No favorable attack, so we're just going to go ahead and pass the turn. We're going to go ahead and sack our Encrusted Goblin. While Zach deliberates on his turn, everything makes more sense to me now. I thought we had a 3-power creature up on top. That is the Red Paragon. This is why Zach was taking the damage that he was. So of course Jeremy's creature's getting +1/+1, and he can launch something at Zach if he wants to by giving it haste. The creature that is in the glare is the one that gets +2/+0 if you control an artifact. So we're going to Gravedigger. Might get back this, yeah, the Bronze Sable. Probably the better choice, as it lets us draw into something else next turn. It's only going to give us 2 power. So, Zach fighting his hardest on this mulligan to 5. There's a Torch Fiend. Looks pretty good on this board where his opponent has an artifact that has been tapping down his stuff. A little bit of out of order sequencing here from Jeremy, as you usually want to loot if you're going to loot. We're going to go ahead and fire this one up, give it some haste, attack in with the boys. We'll see if the Indulgent Tormentor has to get in the way of something. If not, we can probably just trade off this Gravecrawler here. Or not Gravecrawler, Gravedigger. It looks like we're going to have to. So Jeremy manages to clear Zach's board, and that Trigon going to be near useless now. So, Jeremy does have a Torch Fiend on his side. We know that Zach got back the Bronze Sable. That's also not very appealing. Facing down the Torch Fiend, and we're just going to go ahead and scoop him up to game. Go ahead and go to game 2. So the Torch Fiend off the top, very yet again. Look at him just riffle shuffling those Haunted Plate Mails and Indulgent Tormentors like they're not worth 50 cents. We got lands and spells. Is this keepable lands and spells hand? Looks like it. Turn 1 Swamp, no Thoughtseize, because that's not in this format. Jeremy going to go turn 1 Mountain, not even tap that to cast his creature, which is an Ornithopter, the 0/2 flyer for 0 mana. We saw it last game. All it did was feed an Indulgent Tormentor.
And it's now a common.
It is now a common. Doesn't make it any better. Who knows? Zach might turn it to Frog this game, as we see that card in his hand. We could see a 1/1 Ornithopter at some point in this game. Of course, the card that we saw out of Jeremy's deck last game, was the red creature that gets +2/+0 if you control an artifact. So he could be playing it for that. He could be playing it for Shrapnel Blast. We see it here doing its thing, tapping for Convoke. As we saw, Stoke the Flames, which is the 4 mana Convoke burn spell. Deal 4 damage to a creature or player. And here is the Broodkeeper. Broodkeeper, a card where if you enchant it, you get a 2/2 dragon token with flying. So if you got some auras, which we did see Jeremy have the big fist aura last game, that goes good with his Broodkeeper. He can start generating some tokens. Of course, you can also just get in with it. There's your 2 mana 1/2. For all intents and purposes, we can call it a 2 mana 3/2 whenever it's attacking. But it does get +2/+0 if it does that. It's not going to take 2 from the Broodkeeper, go down to 14, and we'll see if he does anything. We know he's got the Turn to Frog in his hand. We can see another island. End of turn Stokia. I think Jeremy's just mono red. I think I've caught him black red, and I'm not going to change that, just in case he ever does play a swamp. So after the +2/+0 resolves, we're going to turn it into a 1/1. Or we're going to turn it into a 1/1, whatever the sequencing was. Well, I'm sure that the level 1 judge out there did it correctly, so that the creature only dealt 1 damage instead of 3. Zach goes down to 7. Jeremy follows it up with a Foundry Street Denizen. Not the best play on turn 5, but it is what it is. He's going to encrust this 3/2. And follow it up with this card that whatever it did. It killed a 1/1. 3 mana to kill a 1/1. Oh, I know what that card is. That is the all non-black creatures get -1/-1 until end of turn. So that's obviously out of the sideboard for Zach. Killed a Foundry Street Denizen here. Not the most impressive card that it's ever. Not the most impressive thing it could ever do. We're gonna get the fist on the Broodmother. Get a 2/2. So we're finally getting some value out of our Broodmother, who's now a 3/2 itself. And we're attacking with just the enchantment, obviously. Oh no, that's the creature. It looked like the creature. It looked like the enchantment was attacking. We get in for 3, followed up with a Shrapnel Blast. So Zach's gonna get burned out. He took a lot of damage from just direct burn spells. Jeremy Bell's going to win round 1. Our own Zach Evans going to fall down to 0-1 to start off his night.